Good morning. My name is Lou Farrell.
Good morning.
I run Bread Drop, and this is my wife Kathy Farrell, who does much more important work, I believe. But she'll tell you about Sanctuary Village, and then I'll do a little bit on Bread Drop.
I wrote this out so I don't talk too long. Thank you for letting me speak today and for all the support you've given Sanctuary Village so far. Sanctuary Village is a nonprofit that I lead. Our goal is to build a tiny house community in Philadelphia, offering residents the social services they need so that as they are ready, they can move on to permanent housing. The concept for this is based on a very successful model in Seattle, led by the Low Income Housing Institute, where they have gone from their first tiny house village in 2015 to 13 with more planned.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's working, which is why I want to do it. We were chosen by the City of Philadelphia to build its first tiny house community at 7979 State Road in the Holmesburg section in the Northeast. This city-owned property will be the site of a dozen tiny houses and a common building. The common building will provide space for shared meals, community meetings, restroom and laundry facilities, an office for a social worker, and recreational space. The tiny houses will allow residents to be on their own, with their own space and locking door, not only giving shelter and privacy, but providing a safe way to help prevent COVID-19 infection by enabling social distancing. Our first planned residents, and I couldn't help but pay attention to those on the margin. Our first planned residents are obviously people who are very much on the margins. Individuals who are chronically homeless, meaning they've been out on the street for a long time, years, who are older than 64 or have pre-existing health conditions. And sadly, there are plenty of people who fit that description. After about 18 to 24 months, we anticipate that residents will be ready to move to permanent housing, and then new residents will move in. Our board includes people from across the area and across walks of life. It includes the co-pastors of the Welcome Church, who minister to people who are homeless in Center City. We also have a member who has experienced homelessness in Philadelphia, as well as an advisor with that same experience. We now have sponsors for 5 of the 12 tiny houses we plan to build and are looking for more. Financially, we're about 2/3 of the way where we need to be to make this tiny house village a reality. Since we are the first ever to do this kind of project in Philadelphia, we are working through the building code and zoning variance process. Everything moves very slowly during a pandemic and when you are working across city departments, as I'm learning. But we hope to put roofs over people's heads well before the end of this year. So we welcome any way people want to support this project, and I thank you.
Thank you, Kathy.
I couldn't be more proud of Kathy and the work she's doing. And this is a good week for us to be here. I think the reading this morning from 1 Corinthians really covers what Sanctuary Village is doing and what Bread Drop is doing. It certainly is about love, and more specifically love of people you don't know and people you're not familiar with and people you might not like to be with. However, we're told to do that. So also with as far as the gospel goes and the pastor's wonderful sermon, we're kind of, I guess we'd all hold hands to get thrown off the cliff, because we're stepping out and doing something audacious by helping folks. I had somebody a couple of years ago, you probably remember, there was an encampment down on the Parkway, and I used to go down there at least once a week, and it was a pretty rough place. A lot of violent, addicted people, a lot of anger. And I had one of our donors tell me that, well, she asked me, do you go down to the encampment? She said, well, I don't want my sandwiches to go there. And it's like, okay, well, then you better take your sandwiches back, because that's not your call. That's not what we're told to do. And so what do? Well, you know a large part of it. You make peanut butter sandwiches and put them in Ziploc bags and give them to me. I see Vicki and Kathleen every week. They come around and pull into my garage and hand me some sandwiches, and we kill some time and talk a little bit. I look forward to that time. We have about 70 volunteers who are working on the production side. There's a number of pickup points or drop-offs. People come to the house. All of it goes through my garage, and which gets interesting. We have the mice under control, but it goes through the garage, and then I kind of decide where it goes, and where it's going right now is Monday. We deliver sandwiches to the e-meal program at Emmanuel Lutheran up in Souderton. Those folks have done almost 200,000 meals since the beginning of the pandemic. Pastor John and his crew up there are doing good work. So we go there on Monday. On Tuesday, we go down to University of Lutheran. Their program down there has been feeding people for 30 years. And Michael Gladfelder is the guy who's in charge, and he's just wonderful. We stop at the Missionaries of Charity in Norristown. That's Mother Teresa's nuns, who are doing some of the hardest work I've ever seen, and they're unfailingly cheerful. They're just wonderful folks. I really look forward to seeing them every week. And then we go to Chester. We go to Chester East Side. Chester's a town that's been back on its heels for a long time, and I'm very impressed with the work that Chester East Side's been doing. I go to the town I grew up in Delaware County, and when I was there wasn't the poverty that there is now, but we leave 400 or 500 sandwiches there, and we have a friend who takes them around to Norwood, Prospect Park, Upper Darby, and Fallcroft, all through Delaware County. My friend Barry makes a run to Center City every week, leaving sandwiches at Project Home, and also St. Mark's Episcopal on Lombard Street. And they have this shopping cart ministry, they call it, where they load up shopping carts with food and push it around to all over, and they know where everybody is. It's interesting, it's innovative, and it's also really effective, because they're taking care of a lot of people that I know down there. We deal with the Archdiocese of Philadelphia, the Community Food Program. They take a good 1,000 sandwiches from us every week, and they drive them down to Kensington, North Philly, Hunting Park, some really hard-hit areas. And then there's kind of the pop-up things where somebody will call and say that they have some immediate need, and that's what we're best able to do. We're best able to respond quickly with what we look at as emergency supplies for people. We know that peanut butter and jelly isn't necessarily going to sustain you forever, but it'll certainly get you through your day, and that's really what we're trying to do. We're trying to meet people where they are, help them out, and provide just what they need for that moment, and then hand them over to Kathy and get them in the house. So, all right. Thank you for your help. You folks are an important part of what we do here, and thank you. Okay.
Thank you.